You heard it. That was Minnesota State Attorney General Keith Ellison saying he would not have done anything differently as Minnesota explodes in even more massive frauds. More than 8 billion estimated frauds now. Garrett Tenney is reporting that. House Oversight is now investigating both Ellison and Governor Tim Walz over this. This is a lot of money stolen from state programs, taxpayer money. Joining us now, American Majority CEO Ned Ryun. Ned, it's great to see you. So he wouldn't have done anything differently? What do you think?
Of course he wouldn't have done anything differently, Liz. There are reports coming out of Minnesota that Ellison met with some of these fraudsters. And again, we'll see where the investigations go, but met with them and in return for campaign donations was encouraged to look the other way. So, of course, Keith Ellison's not going to say anything that he would do anything differently because he benefited from this. I think there are a lot of questions that need to be asked. Ilhan Omar passed the Meals Act in 2020, which brought about these free meals, and then promoted this entire program. We now hear from the New York Post today that of the 79 people that have been indicted on this $250 million free meal fraud, 60 of them live in her district. I want to know, what did Ilhan Omar know? When did she know it? What did Tim Walz know? When did he know it? What did Keith Ellison know? And when did he know it? I'm not interested in congressional investigations, Liz. I'm interested in U.S. attorney criminal investigations into Ilhan Omar, Tim Walz, and Keith Ellison, because we're not talking chump change. We're talking billions upon billions of dollars in fraud. And I want to also make this other point. We're talking about Somali fraud. It's not Somali fraud. I think this is Democrat fraud, because I know that people had to have known years ago what was going on, and they looked the other way because, quite frankly, they benefited from it either politically or financially.
Yeah, what was a quid pro quo? I mean, Tim Walz claims he was on the stick when the fraud started blowing up in 2019 and went on for 3 years, that feeding our future fraud. The New York Post reports the Minnesota Democrats, A.G. Ellison, Ilhan Omar, took tens of thousands, $53,000 in campaign donations from fraudsters who stole the taxpayer cash meant to feed children in that $250 million fraud. So ICE just arrested a Somali illegal alien, Abdul Ibrahim, in Minnesota. Ned, he's already been convicted in Canada of asylum and welfare fraud. He's been pictured with Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz. So DOJ and criminal attorneys could dig easily into the records to see what the quid pro quo was.
I want them to subpoena communications between Omar, Walz, and Ellison. Did they collude on this? The other question that came up for me, Liz, was did Kamala Harris's team come across this when they were supposedly vetting Walz? And if they didn't, they're morons. If they did they cover it up and cover over it and move on and not bring it up in regards to Tim Walz because of the damage that it might have brought and would have removed him from being her VP nominee? So I think there's a lot of questions about who knew what when, and where does this eventually go? Because let's remind people, in 2026, Tim Walz and Keith Ellison are both on the ballot for re-election. And I don't think we've even begun to get past scratching the surface on this massive amount of fraud. And the last thing I would remind people, too, is the money that is being sent back to Somalia, how much of it actually went into al-Shabaab's pockets, a jihadist, radical Muslim terrorist organization in which Chris Rufo has made the point, maybe the Minnesota taxpayers are one of the largest funders of al-Shabaab. A lot of questions, a lot of answers are still missing.
We're going to be seeing this story for weeks to come. Ned Ryun, thank you so much. Good to see you.